Okay. Um, an important topic, something that I thought about for actually for quite a while. I've been thinking about it. Free will is something that logically thinking about it, it doesn't really make sense how we have this free will. Um, so yeah, so I did some research and I was like, oh, hold on, what in our brain or whole body has the optionality? For example, let's if you injure yourself, right, you have a cut in your hand or something like that, if there are in your body the white cells or whatever that has to come here and to fight the germs that are gonna come through the cut, and there's other part of your blood cells that comes in to cover it, stuff like that. So I was like, well, hold on, do they have optionality? They're sitting in an office, the white cells are just sitting in an office, and they get an emergency call that they have to come to cover this, whatever. Do they have the optionality? And they don't. They do not have the optionality. They have to show up. That's it. Now, in our whole body, there is nothing that has optionality. There is literally, we are basically made of particles that none of them, all of them are automated, completely automated. All of them. There is no particle or atom in our body that has the optionality. How come all of them comes together and makes a human that has a free will? If you look at the animals, right, they don't really have free will. They're very automatic. If you punish them for something, they're not gonna do it again. And if X happens, they're gonna do Y, and their thought and their actions are connected. They just do exactly that. There is not negotiation. If there is a loud noise, they gotta run. There are animals there. If there is a loud noise, they gotta run towards it. It's just different. But when you look at the animal category, all of them are the same. Why? And why do we have free will? Well, if you look at it through religious lens, obviously, because we have soul and we are blessed with free will, so that completely makes sense. Now I want to know, how can I logically think about it, and how can I use something that I learned from the research to use it for my own benefit. And I found out that the prefrontal cortex is where the decisions are made. The rest of our brain is more like storage, stuff like that. Like, the actual most important thing is the prefrontal cortex that makes the decisions. Now, the crazy thing is the neurons that fires up, they fire up the same in every single brain. If you hear this, these neurons needs to be fired up. Now, even our prefrontal cortex is made of stuff that are not independent, that does not have optionality. So, so what can we do? Well, it seems like you you need to you need to think and consciously make the decisions to get yourself surround in an environment and surround yourself around people that your brain is perceiving them as something, as like your goal or something. Like, you look at people's life and you're like, I want a life like that, or I want a life better than that. What you need to do in that case is you need to get yourself being surrounded by these people in such an environment. And when I thought about that, moving into an environment was such a simple decision. I was struggling. Me and my friend were thinking about moving into like a city, and we had like a big list. And then once I came to the conclusion, the decision was like that. Boom, done. Yes, this city makes the most sense. Of course, we're gonna move in there. Like, it's moving to any other city is just completely stupid for us to do. Why? Because the city we're gonna go into it has this environment that you're being surrounded about or with people that all think about around the same thing or the same industry. So why not move to that city? So every day you meet people that has these neurons that are firing up the same way, which your brain will perceive them for a long enough time, and your brain will be firing up the same neurons. So now you're being influenced by all this environment everywhere you go: coffee shop, crossing the road, going to a restaurant, going to the gym, just meeting people, walking. Like everything leads you to kind of like compresses you into one narrow industry. So that makes the most sense to go for. And so my advice for anyone who wants to become anything, it's such a simple thing. You hear it from people. You need to surround yourself with people, with like-minded people, or the people that you are, you want to become or to be like them. You need to surround yourself around these people. And it's like it's such an easy fix, but it never made sense to me. Kind of like I need explanation for everything. I need logical explanation for everything. And it was just like I just didn't know. I was like, why? Like that doesn't make really sense. Like why do I need to surround myself? Like can't I just be like in a secluded place? And turns out that no, if you want to become certain, if you want to have a certain sort of outcome, you really need to surround yourself with people like that. Or if you do not have access to it, you just need to listen and read a lot of books about these people so you can think like them. That's another way that you could probably just, without moving out, still being in a community that you're in, but think and act like the people that you admire. They might be dead, they might be alive, but if you read and listen to their biographies, that's gonna give you a really good understanding of how your brain should fire up neurons. The neurons that fires together, they wire together. And when you go to an environment such as, let's say, an environment that's all about tech, AI, and stuff like that, you go there, and what happens is the people think a certain way. They see a problem and they have a certain mindset of how to solve the problem, how to make a decision, how to kind of like go about the action. And once you see that enough times, your brain is kind of doing the same thing. And the more you do it, the more your brain is making the same sort of decisions. And when it gets a different scenario, it still has like the structure of how to make a decision that could work great in that kind of environment. So there is literally no such thing as original. We humans are not original. We just listen. We just connect the dots. There is literally not a human that comes up with that will come up with, or have ever come up with an idea that's so unique, so out of the box that he had absolutely no context, but he still came up with this idea. It's just people connecting the dots. When when whatever was invented, it was more like a person saw the dots and then they connected the dots. And that shows that we are not like origin. We can never think outside the box. We can connect the dots, but we can never ever think outside the box. Most of the inventions you see, they're connected dots. Let's say, for example, if someone consider, I don't know, if people consider Amazon as a very outside of the box idea, let's think about it. What Jeff Bezos thought, like how Jeff Bezos thought. He was like, well, I'm sitting at home and I probably today I'm tired. I don't want to go to Walmart to buy something. Why can't I have access to the computer that I already have access to while there is UPS outside? They're delivering stuff anyway. Why can I not connect these two dots, UPS plus online, and just make like something that does, like you're at your home, you put your address and everything like that. That's all you need to do, and then the UPS ships you the product in front of your doorstep. Why could I not do that? It's not an original idea. 3,000 years ago, nobody thought about that. Why? Because we can never ever think outside the box. These are the small stuff that we connect the dots with, and then we invent something. So you really need to surround yourself with the people that you admire and the kind of person you want to become. And that's it.